Hi guys, welcome back. It's Savannah, and in today's video we're going to be talking about traveling to Paris. I will do a little bit of a story time in this video. I'll show you a weird snapshot of a weird experience that happened to me, so if you're interested in Paris, France, keep on watching. First is the Louvre. The Louvre is a very famous museum. It holds the Mona Lisa, so if you're interested in seeing art or just a museum with the Mona Lisa in it, definitely go check out the Louvre. I'm surprised I didn't say this first, but the Eiffel Tower, it's what France is known for, and it's surprisingly a lot bigger in person than I thought it was going to be. It's absolutely massive, and one cool thing about it that I didn't know was that every hour on the hour, I believe it sparkles. Last thing, I know I'm probably gonna butcher the name, but the Triomphe is basically this big arc that Paris is known for being in the middle of the city. It's like a big arc, and then there's a roundabout in like surrounding it. So that's another really cool thing to see that Paris is absolutely known for. Another really cool thing to do in Paris is Disney Paris. If you're looking for a theme park or something fun to do during that day, I definitely recommend Disney Paris. I'm originally from Florida, so I have Disney World in Orlando, so I plan on hitting all of the Disney Worlds and Disneylands just to compare all of them. So, last but not least, I highly recommend going to see the Moulin Rouge. It is definitely not the same Moulin Rouge as Amsterdam. This is actually a burlesque show, so if you're going there with hopes of seeing something else, you're not gonna find it there. So when I went to Paris, I stayed in the Radisson Hotel. It was absolutely gorgeous, and the only complaint that I have with it is it was poor planning on my part because this is clearly the first time that I've ever been to Paris, and I accidentally booked my hotels. I like to book my hotels where my hotel is close to the airport, and I actually booked this hotel near a different airport. So it was about 45 minutes away from where I was supposed to be when it comes to the airport, and yeah, it was just it was a hassle. It was a train and a half to get to, anywhere. Another thing that I want to really highly recommend to people if you're interested in history, especially war history like World War II specifically, Normandy. There's Normandy Beach and the surrounding beaches like Omaha Beach, Gold Beach, and if you're not familiar with what this is, those are the beaches, or some of the beaches, that got stormed during D-Day. So D-Day is a huge part of American history, as well as German and French history as well. Many countries were involved in World War II, clearly, so I highly recommend going to see the D-Day, Memorial Museum, and it's actually specifically called Normandy American Cemetery. This is the famous cemetery with all the white crosses, with all of the Americans. And shameless brag right now, because I forgot to put this in my video and I was editing and I realized that I didn't say it. The reason why I'm so interested in World War II history and war history and, like D-Day specifically, is because one, I was in the Army, and two, my unit that I was in, the 307th Engineer Battalion, was a part of D-Day. They jumped in to D-Day on D-Day. So, H- if you, for all those engineer people out there, but yeah, I wanted to add that part. Paris is extremely small, but what's nice about it is everything is close to each other. There's so much to see and so much to do in such a small area. Somewhat similar to Amsterdam in terms of it being such a small city and so much to do. Everywhere you turn, there's going to be something gorgeous to see, and if you're into shopping, definitely check out the malls. There's a strip immediately in Paris where they only sell high, like the high bougie stuff. So like you'll walk down the strip and the only stores that they have are like Coach, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, like stuff like that. So super, super bougie, super, super pretty. And if you're going during the winter time like I did, everywhere you turn, there's going to be a winter market. And what those are essentially little markets where people are selling food, drinks, alcoholic beverages like mead. They have warm mulled wine at a lot of the little concession stands, I guess you could say they are. I had literally the best crepes in France, and I actually got to put my couple years of French to the test, I ordered my food in French, which like is super basic and not that hard, but it was kind of cool seeing that I took French in high school and some of college, so it was interesting to see how much of that I retained. So now for the bread and butter of the conversation. I had something extremely awkward happen to me while I was in Paris. So awkward and traumatizing that my friend and I actually spent the last day, it happened on our second to last day in Paris. So this happened late at night and it was really awkward, and it actually caused us to stay in our hotel room for the entirety of the next day. We were kind of traumatized and weirded out and didn't want to go out back into the city to explore, so we stayed in our hotel and waited for our flight. So essentially what happened, my friend Jordan and I were boarding the last train back from the city to our hotel, and this is where it gets kind of weird because what happened to us is illegal in America and not illegal in Paris and a lot of other places in Europe. So we looked it up and it was actually really shocking to us. So what happened was we were on our train back and I don't even know where to start this, honestly. This is like the most weird thing to explain. Okay, so due to my friend and I's schedule, it was super messed up. We were jet lagged because we were traveling multiple cities and multiple countries throughout Europe in a really, really short amount of time. So we were super jet lagged, so we would sleep in during the day, do what we could during sunlight, and we would stay out really late, and then we would usually stay out till 1 or 2 in the morning and then finally be coming back. So the trains ran all the time, and we were on one of the last few trains that were coming soon, because we actually had to, like, as the later they went on, the longer you would have to wait for the next train. So we actually missed a train, and we were sitting in the train station and we had to wait an hour for the next train to come. And the train stations in Paris were the train stations in Paris were especially confusing to us, so we ended up getting on the wrong train. We boarded this train, and one thing I do say that I like about trains in Paris is that they're actual trains. They're not like the underground subways, like they're actually trains. So I thought that was interesting, and they're double-decker trains. So my friend Jordan and I got on the train, we went up to the second level, and we noticed that there was 2 of the girls sitting there, so we sat down, on the opposite side of the train from them. Well, these trains make stops just like buses or, subways or any other mode of transportation, public transportation does. So the train made a couple stops until we needed to get off to get on another train, the correct train, to get to where we were going. So the train makes one of these stops and a man gets on. And this man was not a weird, creepy looking guy, which I want to point out in the beginning, because he was like tall, dark, and handsome, pretty blue eyes, like nice white teeth, like didn't look creepy. He just looked extremely tired, and in that term, I guess he did look a little creepy, but he wasn't like some ugly, creepy, pedophile looking guy. So what happened was he sits in front of us, facing us, about 2 seats ahead of us. So in total, he was probably about 5-6 feet away from us. And I noticed that he kept staring at us, and it was really weird because, I don't know, like, I don't like being stared at, so it was weird, and I kind of, like, kept looking over at Jordan, being like, this guy's, like, starting to get a little weird. So I noticed after a couple minutes, he started heavily breathing, and I noticed that his hands were moving, and I was like, that's weird. I wonder what he's doing with his hands by his pants. That's pretty weird. So I didn't think much else of it. I was like, that's just like really weird. Hope he's not doing what I think he's doing. Whatever. So I look away, and then, the moving and the friction of his pants, like the sound started getting a little faster. So I lean back and I look in the mirror. Well, not the mirror, but like the window. And I can see that he has something inappropriate in his hands, and he's moving it around. So I thought it was just like a phone charger or something at first, and he was like fiddling with it, but that's not what the case was. He was looking straight at us and staring at us, touching himself inappropriately. So I immediately look over at Jordan, and all I could muster was Jordan. And she looked at me, and I just kept staring at her because I didn't want to say anything else. It was just like a really weird, awkward situation. So she finally looks at this guy and she catches on, thank God, very quickly. So we immediately get up and run off the train. Well, it's still moving, so you can't just hop off a moving train. So we're standing there like, what are we gonna do? The train's still moving. Luckily, within like 30 seconds of us standing up and going downstairs to the first decker, it stops moving and we get off. And we literally get off and just start running down, you know, the strip. And we're like, dude, that was so crazy. Like, we're laughing, our heart's beating, because like it was super weird. Like, we just saw some random dude's wiener that we did not want to see. Super weird. So we're like freaking out, and then we realize, hey, this isn't our stop. We still need to be on this train. So we're like, well, what do we want to do? We don't want to get back on this train. It's super creepy. Like, so quick. These trains come and go and they leave really quick. So we didn't want to like risk waiting there at 2 o'clock in the morning with other creepy weirdos who come out at night to prey on weird people or to prey on innocent people. And so we hopped back on the train about 5 other cabins down. The cabins don't connect, thank God. So we immediately go into this train and it's full of other men. So we're already like traumatized. So we're like, well, this is crazy. So we get back off and then we go down one more and it's full of old ladies. Thank God for old women. We just like, you know, went upstairs, sat in the next one and just started talking about it. And it was probably the most awkward thing that has ever happened to me ever. And I decided to wear this shirt in remembrance of this creepy violating day that I had. This is what I was wearing. I was also wearing a coat over it, so I wasn't wearing anything provocative. You know, like I had my makeup done. You'll see it in the video. I'm gonna play the Snapchat of our reaction in a second. But yeah, that's my safety tip to you, is to just don't be like us and just because you're jet lagged is like sleep in, do your stuff during the day and then stay out late. Get up early, do what you gotta do, and go in at a normal time. Because so we weren't running away from this guy, by the way, because we were scared that we just saw him like exposed. We were nervous that we were thinking like, clearly this guy is not in his right mind. What if he tries to grab us? What if he tries, you know, to hurt us or rape us or beat us or something? So we were nervous that he was gonna try to get us or something like that. So that's why we initially ran off the train. Plus, like, who sees that happen and just sits there and they're like, yeah, this is fine, like, go ahead and finish, bud. No, if you're gonna see some random dude doing that, you're gonna get the fuck up and you're gonna get off the train, like. And like, we were nervous at first, like, well, what if he tries to follow us off the train and like run after us out the train, which he probably wouldn't do because his wiener was out. So it's not like he's just gonna be like chasing us, get back here, like with himself out. Like, I mean, it's not illegal. Clearly he doesn't care. He's not like shy. Oh Lord. And it sucks because we just wanted to go home. We just wanted to go back to our hotel room peacefully, and then this guy just had to ruin everything. It was creepy and weird. So yeah, we weren't running because we were scared that we just, you know, saw a wiener. We were scared that he might try to get us. So thinking back to it, our reaction, I think, was very well warranted. We just ran off the train and started running, you know, away because, like, we didn't want to be anywhere near that fucking guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the Snapchat right now of our reaction immediately after we ran out and got on a separate cart of the train and sat down. I immediately posted this to my Snapchat story because I wanted everyone to know what just happened to me. This is the craziest thing that I've ever seen. So I'm gonna play that Snapchat of our reaction.
Oh! Some dude was, oh my God, bro. I'm like shaking.
My heart's beating so fucking fast. Oh my God, that was the most awkward thing. I think I've seen his dick in the fucking reflection.
Me too.
Like, I've seen it.
Some dude was just jacking off to us on the train, bro. We were sitting here. He was sitting like right there, and I looked at him and he was staring at me, and I looked away, and then I looked back and he was still staring at me, and then I saw that his hand was moving, like so then I like kind of leaned back a little bit and looked like in the reflection, and I saw him like jerking his dick, bro,
in the goddamn reflection of the damn
and I look at Jordan and I'm like, Jordan, and she picked up on it, and then we got off, ran off, and then like got onto like the same train, but like 5 cabins different. And oh my god, bro, like weirdest shit ever.
Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you thought that this video was entertaining, and hit the notification bell so you're always updated for when I post new videos. My mind is like flashing back to that moment now of like weird wieners. So yeah, I'll just leave you guys with that, and yeah, let me know in the comment section of anything that you'd be interested in seeing next. Thanks, guys.